What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we discuss the art, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. With this episode's guest, Lana Siebel. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humourist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for joining us as we continue our interview with comedian and actress Lana Siebel. Enjoy. Yeah, this is the people. I think when it just comes to anything, people you have to put the work in, and a lot of people don't put the work in. They just wait for things to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? And if you wait for things to happen, it's not going to happen the way you want it to most of the time.
No. And it's not going to happen. It might not. Yeah.
Well, it's like, because I know, I mean, I am very picky about the jobs I take as a comedian. Well, one thing, I started so late that I never expect to be famous because I think it takes too long and too much work to put in. And I will never have that much time. You know, it's like somebody saying at age 50, I'm going to be a violin virtuoso. It's like, no, you could be very good and you can learn some of the classics.
I'm going to disagree with you in terms of comedy because I think for me, that's when I want to hear from the person at most when he's had the experience, he or she had the experience.
But you're another comedian. You're not a booker. And you're not the audience. I'm just saying because like I started when I was 55. So I'm 66.
Wow, you don't
now.
look it. I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised.
So I'm 60.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this, but black don't crack. You can
no, but my bones are white.
Amazing.
Yeah, but my bones are white and they're breaking all the time. So even if you listen right now, you can hear the white bones cracking like you wouldn't believe.
No, you don't look. I'm shocked. Wow.
No, but I'm saying that not. I appreciate the compliment, but I say it because when you start out, it's usually most of your fans are your contemporaries. You know, the people your age. So if I'm 55, when I was 55, most of my fans, early fans, people who came out to see me were my family and friends who supported me.
I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you again. I think your people. It's not contemporaries. I feel like I connect with sometimes the younger generation.
And when you started out, when you first started.
I mean, when I first started out, it was a mess. That was just trying to, that was survival mode. But now, I feel like any age can connect and gain. I disagree with you. I think
I'm not saying connect and gain. I'm talking about like, in other words, be like I don't think that the natural course of things, barring lightning striking or something, that I will ever be like a Dave Chappelle. I don't have enough time. Like I said, I started at 55. I'm 65 now. It will probably take maybe another 5, or at least I'm being overly optimistic, 5 or 10 years for me to get that kind of acclamation.
I don't think you should compare yourself to anyone.
Well, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing the humor. I'm talking about the result, the fame level, that level, because, like I said, in order for me to be that proficient, well, first of all, I have a different viewpoint of. I don't expect to do a perfect set. I expect everything I do to be flawed somehow.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is you have a unique. You're the only one that has this point of view and can do what you can do. I do believe. Yeah. I know I've listened to a lot of YouTube positivity, but I really do believe that. Yeah, it's not. And I guess I've spent so many years competing that now completely mind shift. I'm not competing with anyone.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm not competing with anyone either. But it's funny. I have a friend. I don't want to make this about me, but people will say to me, "Who's your favorite comedian?" I say me. I'm my favorite comedian.
I like that.
And because I tell the point of view that I want to hear. I tell the jokes that I want to hear. Yeah. So I'm my favorite. Am I the best comedian? No. I know tons of comedians that are way better than I am, but they're not my favorites. I'm my favorite.
I like that.
And so, but okay, let's see here. I have some more stuff here. the first time you took the stage as a comedian to do comedy, what do you remember about that?
Yeah, I remember everything because um, I wanted to do comedy probably since I was little, and then I was trying to get up on stage and do comedy like 8 years prior. I remember because I took an
Wow.
improv class, which um, I am not. I'm getting better. I mean, think I'm like a lot better now, but I am. It was a disaster. The first one was gonna be okay because I had the acting chops, but then I took four more improv classes, which shows me that I I can do very difficult things, and there is just no stopping me. I will keep going. I'm so glad I stopped, and then finally had the nerve to do comedy. But I remember everything about that night. I wrote out the 5 minute set for a long time, and my son was 2, and I remember, you know, I guess this is very deep, but when he was born, it was one of the best, probably the best day of my life, and I
Probably.
wanted to probably. Let's hope. Let's see if anything else goes wrong.
That and a TV special
I could just
somewhere in
see him
there.
like, yeah, I could see him busting my chops right now. Okay, it was the best. I always tell him it was you being born and then me getting married was the second best, but you number one first. And I remember just no sleep. I was working so hard, bunch of horrible day jobs, and I wanted more for myself, and I think I wanted more for him. I wanted to be a better mom, pursuing my dreams, because at that point I was kind of running away from my whole dancing childhood and a young adulthood, and um, a lot of trauma that I was trying to overcome. So when he was 2 years old, I finally got. It took a lot of strength for me to get up there and do that, and it was a pretty felt like an amazing accomplishment because it went really well. I had comics who were doing it for a while come up to me and tell me that it went well. And then I think I didn't do it for another couple of months. And then the second, third, fourth, that was a real challenge. It did not
Yeah.
go well. But the first one, I remember, I think my father in law came to see me, which was great. My friend, she lives in Rhode Island now. She's also really amazing actress. She's an opera singer. She and her husband. Um, they came to see me. So yeah, uh, it it was a really powerful um, night for me.
Now, do you have a routine that you like to do to get yourself in the comedy mood before you take the stage, and has that evolved over the years?
That's a that's again really good question. I think the routine now is trying to stay as healthy as I can. Um,
Between cannolis?
yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry. No, look, you and I both have the same love for snacks. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big snack, but I joke about that, but it's there's a lot of working out in there every day, and um, I think I almost do like a meditation where it's like a 20 to 30 minute video of just more like a getting in the mind zone of being positive and kind of retraining my mind into a positive mindset. Which
Right.
at first I felt when I started doing it years ago, you feel like ridiculous and it feels so silly and dumb and embarrassing. But now it's almost like a workout, because, yeah, it's such a psychological, challenging thing. Um, this whole comedy thing and performing every
Yeah.
night. So I think that I get into that. But honestly, I feel lucky that I'm performing almost every night where I don't really give myself a choice. You just do it like a job.
Now,
Yeah.
do you do you produce any of your own shows? The reason why I'm asking is
Thankfully,
because
no.
that's a different headache, And that's one of
Yes,
the, that's
thankfully no, and I'm very
okay.
happy not to be. I did during the pandemic, like when it just started. I would say for about a year, maybe year and a half, I produced a show outdoors. It was very successful.
Hmm.
I felt like I'm gonna have an ulcer every week. I really tried my all, and I'm so happy to not be doing it. But it was really touching to see people come out, and I worked, yeah, really hard on it being a good show, and I was very much concerned about everybody having a good time, the comics doing well. So it
Right.
was, but it's so intense. I'm so happy not to be doing it, and it's so time consuming and energy consuming and everything. So
I
I
don't
really
mind.
respect people who do it. Yeah.
I don't mind producing shows if I'm not performing, but when I'm performing, I hate producing shows that I'm performing in because there's so many details to pay attention to, and there's always something going wrong.
So many things going wrong, and but that's one of the reasons I did do it, is so I could get myself some more stage time. So I would,
Right.
yeah, but it's so intense. And then when I first started out doing comedy, I would also do the barking, uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I've been through. I paid a lot of dues, as most of us do. But yeah,
Now, what was the first like? What was it like for you the first time you saw your name in lights as the headliner? Like, what have you like been on the marquee and you saw? You know,
yeah,
what was the first time? The first time you saw that they're like they're here to see you. You're the headliner. What was that
yeah.
experience like for you?
That was actually 4.5 years ago. I started doing the 45-minute set, and I was really, really nervous because I really wanted to do a good job, because 45 minutes is a long time. Um,
Yeah.
now, honestly, I just did like 30 minutes at a show, and I felt rushed. So now 45 minutes
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it feels like this is great. This is it's not difficult at all. Like, it's great. It's easier than doing, but the first time you do it, um it felt amazing. I felt like really exhilarated, that I had the energy and the health, and like the push through to go forward.
One of the things I try to explain to young comics, I said it's not enough for you to have to be able to do a 30-minute set material wise. I said if you're used to doing 10 minutes and then you're doing 30 minutes, it's a total different total on your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of young comedians and they'll do like 5 minutes, and when they get into their seventh minute, they're starting to lean on things,
Yeah.
and they're starting
Yeah.
to, even if the material is still good, their body language just says, "Look, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm only up
Yes.
here because I got to finish these next 3 minutes."
Yeah.
And if they can't handle it from the 7 to 10, going to 30 is just going to kick their ass. I mean,
Yeah. Because
you know,
even, I don't know if you noticed, even when you're rehearsing like the 45 minutes, when you're going through it, you're exhausted afterwards. It's really, yeah, like we were talking about, or like we were saying from the beginning, it's very energy.
yeah, I've done, because I was telling you how I'm a little bit picky now because I I'm a lot I my favorite sets are 90-minute sets. I love to do my 90-minute shows. I love that more than anything else in comedy.
Yeah.
And but there was 4 nights in a row, or four I did 4 90-minute shows in a row over 3 nights. And as much as I loved it, when it was over with, I was like, no more. One a
Yeah.
month. One a month. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's it. One a month. I don't mind doing 30-minute shows, 45-minute shows, but it's like you said, you start to feel rushed. It's like 30, you do a 45-minute show, you get used to 45, and then they say, we want you to do 30. You're like, what do I
Yeah.
cut out?
I have a joke about it, in terms of like, I don't know how Cosby did it. Like,
Nah, you mean
he
drugging
would
so many
do
people?
he would do 2-hour shows back to back, two of them in a theater in front
Yeah.
of like thousands of people, and then he'd come home and he'd spend time with his family, and then
And
he'd
then
like,
have time to drug women.
and then he drug women and raped them. I mean, like, how does he have the energy? Like, I do a headlining set. I come home and I'm like, don't bother me. Like, I don't even
Yeah,
want to talk to you guys. I'm going to sleep.
yeah.
But he had all this. Like, that is an insane amount of energy.
He probably had pure coke. I don't know.
Something. I think it's more powerful. It's a real need to dominate. Oh my
And also
god.
now, because a lot of people who go into comedy have the need for approval,
Oh
and if
yeah.
they didn't have that, they don't. I don't know, and they don't know what they would do. Like if I didn't have comedy, I'd be making furniture.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'll be like, that's it. I'm fine. I don't have to be funny. I'll make furniture. If you didn't
Yeah.
have the comedy, what would you be doing other than cannolis? Because I'm just saying cannolis because that's my weakness. I'm projecting. I'm
Yeah.
projecting.
um well, I have done a lot of things, and so
Yeah.
I'm still acting, and I'm writing a book right now, and I'm going to be writing. I co-wrote a script that got into the Austin Film Festival. Yeah,
Cool.
and it made it, and not only that, but it also made it into the top 20%. And it's also about Eastern Europe, and Honora just won, and it's about Brighton Beach, and I
Right.
have to watch it, but I think it's thankfully nothing like my script. No offense, but again, I'm not hearing the best thing, but we'll see.
Well,
Maybe it's good.
I haven't. The only thing I know about Honora, I learned Sunday. It won an Oscar. That's
Yeah,
all. I didn't even know it was a movie. Well, I didn't even know it was a
yeah.
word before then.
I was curious about it because the film I co-wrote was also set in Brighton Beach, and it reveals the world about Brighton Beach in Eastern Europe, and things I grew up with and I'm very familiar with and lived with. So I'm hoping eventually I can get that on its feet. But the script I'm very proud of it, and I'm going to be co-writing a script that hopefully is almost no budget that we could just shoot. Hopefully in the summer. So yeah, I
Now,
guess
where did you learn to write a script? Because the script writing is different than set writing, and joke writing, and stuff like that.
yeah.
I was asked to write a script, and I'm like, okay, I had to start looking at what other scripts look like so that I could imitate it, like a template. How did you learn to write a
Yeah.
script?
So I guess I've been acting since I was
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, and I've been to many different. I went to Lee Strasberg Institute and studied there, and
Oh,
then
okay.
HB
So you
Studios.
cheated. No, I'm just
What?
kidding. So you cheated. That's how you
Yeah, I
know.
cheated. I
You
wish that
studied.
would be
How
so
dare
much
you?
easier. I just studied for a gazillion years and went on a million auditions. But yeah, that was and then I've been writing scripts for many years now. I have one that I've never kind of showed with another co-writer. So just yeah, I guess I just by doing it. Yeah, but
Okay.
there's a lot of good classes and a lot of good things you could do to help out with that. And yeah,
Okay. I was just curious because, like I
yeah,
said, it's one of those things where,
it's it's again very very challenging. Yeah,
yeah. Now I had to see here. A lot of people. Uh, Now I have again. I'm not. I'm familiar, a little bit familiar with your stuff. I don't see like. I see a lot of really good writing in what you do. I don't see a lot of crowd work. This is not a criticism. This is just an observation.
I actually
Uh,
take that as a compliment because I feel like a lot of comics who are just starting out, who want to get buzz, um, think it's okay to just post a lot of crowd work things because they don't have the material. So I think,
Okay, see, that's what
yeah,
we're. Okay, I didn't want to
no,
go there,
no,
but no,
nothing
no, but no,
shady.
that's because we feel the exact. I
Yeah,
think crowd work is for lazy people who don't know how to
yeah,
write.
and beginners who
Yeah,
just want to get some, get a little buzz, but it's not comedy, and I'm actually like a little bit upset for the audience because they think they're gonna get berated and criticized, but I
yes,
it's not the experience
it's
that
really hard when you're doing general seating and people don't want to sit in the
yeah
front row.
yeah
So to be honest, when if I'm headlining, actually, even if I'm featuring, I try to greet the audience. Part
Mhm.
of like I was talking about routines. My routine is to actually greet the audience as they're coming into the venue, even if they
Oh,
don't
that's
know I'm a
nice.
comedian. And I meet them and I try to and I'll say when I'm performing tonight. I said I'm not going to pick on you, so if you can sit up front, that's fine. I literally I do that. And
I just had, I'm so happy you do that because I just also had an audience member who she's like, I never been to a comedy show, but I was so happy to come see you because I thought I was going to be picked on and it's going to be a but you were like so nice and I loved your comedy and she had such a nice experience and that's what we want because we all
right,
work so hard on our material and making the audience feel good that when we see this somebody who's just starting out and they're like being mean and berating because they're not doing the work themselves, it's like
yeah.
it
Or
doesn't.
or or comedians that don't get a laugh and they take it out on the audience.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
not
not
what it is.
right. It's
Yeah,
you.
that's not what people like pay tickets and buy drinks and pay babysitters. They don't come to be like berated. They want
Yeah.
to show. Yeah.
I've never been heckled at a show in like little over 10 years I've been doing comedy. I mean, I've never been heckled at a show. I've been heckled at a competition by by another comic's mother, and I ignored her the first two times, but the third time she said something that fit right into my material, so I acknowledged it and I put it in the thing, and it looks like, oh my god, he's so great. It's a and, and I've been heckled at an open mic by another
Mm.
comedian, and it's after a while you see people material so often you kind of know it.
Yeah.
This comedian yelled out my punchline just before I got to it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, that's a good line. I wish I thought of it. And then I went on and I went to my brain started to scramble. So I went to a secondary punchline and I did that. And so I started preparing. There's some things we do that we know the logical, it's like if it's topical, the people you can see the punchline coming a mile away, you
Yeah.
know. And so whenever I have one of those moments, I write two or three extra punchlines now.
Hmm.
So if somebody yells out, you know, to it before I get to it, I'm ready, and I'm like, no, that's really good, and I'll add something else. But
That's funny.
no, so have you, what's your, I guess, most memorable heckling experience?
Oh.
It doesn't have to
Um.
be good or bad because they could heckle you and you turn it into like a teaching moment for the audience.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think. Well, lately, honestly, for a while now, I see little spurts, usually older men who are like, "Oh, I can," they want to do comedy. They're a little bit. So but then I just try to like, you gotta ignore a little, and then you start talking to them, and then they're like, "Oh, holy shit," uh, I'm not a comedian, and I can't do. And she knows what she's doing, and so it's nice to see them being humbled, and but um, I'm trying to think. This wasn't a heckling. This was actually a really fun experience that happened recently, beginning of February.
Hmm.
So I feel like um, I started getting opportunities in shows when I just started out in Harlem, and it's
Right.
a really warm, loving crowd, and um, I'm very happy because I feel like I was almost adopted by some of these. I felt like the love that I never got as a child by these by these audience members, and at first, it was rough because uh, people would go on their phones. They would
Right.
act like I'm not even there, and then they started to really. I started to joke around, and they started to hear my material and started to relate, and I felt very connected to the audience in Harlem, and a lot of love. And I haven't gotten a chance to perform there in a little while, and then I just did a show. It was like a bar, and it was Black History Month. It was the beginning of February,
Okay.
and I think I was the only female, you know, I'm Eastern European, I'm Jewish, but I'm white, and I think I
Mm-hmm.
was the only one there that was looked like me. And and then the host was like, and now your headliner, she's the only female.
Ah.
And then I come up and everybody's, it's a small intimate little bar, the lights
Mm-hmm.
are brightly lit, and everybody starts talking on their phones like I'm not even there, and I'm like, be quiet, a white woman is speaking. And I was like, they were like, they were drawn in after that.
Yeah, I
Like
said
they saw a
that's
professional. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. I wasn't timid, and then I started talking to them, and then it was like craziness going on. They were laughing. I felt respect, and then there was these two women who kind of like, one of them went like this, like kissing each other, like it was like a romantic, like when you
yeah.
back kiss, like mwah. And then I was like, oh, and couples, and I'm like, oh, and you guys, they're like, couples, that's my mom. I'm like, what? and then she was like, that's my sister. I'm like, what? First, like, mom, sister, like I felt like Jack Nicholson in Chinatown. She's my mom, she's my sister, she's my mom. And then and and then there was another older lady. She looked like she was going to church. She was so adorable. She had like a little hat, a nice coat, and I'm like, okay, any other couples here? Like couples, like you guys know what I'm talking like. And then she points to the bartender and she goes, "That's my daughter." And I'm like, okay, how many drinks have you guys all had? Like what? And then it was like a little party. We were all just, it felt very connected, and that was like the best, I guess, heckling thing. I just felt nice that I could perform in any room, in rooms that maybe are not, at first welcoming, but
Yeah.
then, and, performing in Pennsylvania, very conservative rooms. I feel like it's nice to be out live with people and not virtual on the internet. It's a whole different thing when you connect with people live, and that's so important right now.
Now, who is the hardest member of your family to make laugh? You make them
So this
laugh.
is
You make
exactly what
them
I was
laugh.
gonna
You
say to
know.
you. Like, if I can survive my childhood, any room is a lot easier. So uh, my mom is, I try to describe her in my specials. People are like, oh my God, she
Yeah.
sounds so funny. I want to meet her. You're like, no, it's definitely good writing and performative. Because whoo, I think she's in very intense competition with me. So even throughout my childhood, I wasn't allowed to be funny. She would
Oh, okay.
say, yeah, horrible things to me, but I was allowed to be pretty, but I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
allowed to be. Yeah, so she was like the first, I guess, very chauvinist, misogynist male. She was worse than,
Wow.
yeah, which is interesting. But yeah, it was kind of insane. Anything I say is like, killing her. But lately, my husband noticed she does actually start to laugh a lot at what I say. And he's like, maybe you just got funnier. So I don't, which is like, wow. But so even the toughest critic, I guess she's been turning around. Um, but yeah, my dad too. I feel like they're both in competition with me. Like it's very strange. But yeah, they're both. I think a little bit difficult for many reasons. So yeah, I think if I survive that, any room is easier.
So, if they were in the audience, would you be a little nervous to perform in front of them, or?
They have not been in the audience yet, and I thank God every day for that. And, I think it's beyond nervous. I don't know what it is at this point. Um, yeah, I talk about my dad still not seeing my special, which is insane. Because he thinks he doesn't have the technology for it. That's a whole bit as well. See, it's
Oh,
very extreme. So, like you said, the suffering. I'm really trying to use that. Um, but yeah, they're both incredibly difficult.
hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist and host of Them Way Past Funny. Thank you for watching our continued interview with comedian and actress Lana Siebel. And please come back to watch more of our interview with Lana Siebel. And when you come back to join us, bring a friend.